It was at TI2 where he said Puppy's the tallest, so he's in charge.
This first phase is really important. Vici have to decide what they want to do about Doom, Slardar, and Ember Spirit. If they ban out the Doom and the Slardar, then Team Secret get the Ember Spirit first. So they need to have a solution for that. And I think this first phase ban is actually way more important than other games.
So they ran Disruptor last game. It wasn't first the Ember. Definitely something that they could go to. Obviously, late game isn't a great solution if he gets a BKB or maybe a Linken's, but Ken should have done early.
And Secret need to think about banning perhaps the Alchemist too. So now Alchemist is open. Secret have completely changed their bans from what Shadow Fiend plus Shadow Fiend plus Alch.
This is a much more open draft, but I feel like Vici do have to ban the Slardar because for me, this is one of the really game-changing heroes in this meta right now because it opens up your mid-hero too. You don't have to pick necessarily a huge damage dealer because the amplified damage turns everybody.
But now they can, like, let's say, leave Ember and Doom in.
I think
Secret will take one or the other, and then you take.
Well, there's also
Doom
Shadow
plus
Fiend, which Secret does sometimes take that early as well.
I think you actually ban the SF, leave the other two heroes open, and at worst you can get a combination of like
Ember.
Dazzle, Ember, Doom, or what's the
Wyvern's band actually.
There was actually another hero I was thinking of for that. Just isn't coming to mind. The Darkseer, I guess.
Darkseer.
Yeah, I think this is the play. Open up the draft a lot.
That's really open the draft.
So there's Shadow Fiend, there's Ember Darkseer, there's the Dazzle, and there's the Doom.
Then I think
they can also lead with an AA opener, which is very common versus the Doom.
I think Vici. Okay, they're gonna take the Undying this time around.
Well, I guess we'll see that Morphling ban in the second phase now.
I don't actually think the Morphling's that scary. I think it won one game, but then it got like kind of patched out, and it's not. I don't think it's worth a second phase ban.
They banned it at Nanyang when they saw this opening. So
was that before or after it got patched?
I think it was after it got patched.
It feels like such a specific strategy doing it. It really has to work out, but Secret.
I think right now it's like, do you want the AA versus the Alchemist or not? Because Alchemist, I think, is actually really good versus the Doom. He farms so much faster than him, and if you have your Rage on and he gets doomed, he doesn't really care. He still turns around and fights.
It's whether you take the Ember, because if you don't take it now, it's going to get banned.
Yeah. So they get the Dazzle. This is kind of the safer opening where you don't reveal that many cores early.
There are a lot of different mid heroes too for Weehall still to play. Like they've got
Wind Ranger,
Shadow Fiend, yes.
His Leno's quite good as well, though normally I don't see that as much.
Now Secret might have to ban the AA though, because Vici have the first pick coming out into the next phase, and it's really good versus both of those heroes.
So many mind games right now in this draft.
Their Alch's really scary.
Yeah, I agree.
There's been some games where like all of Vici Gaming is feeding, and then suddenly Super has like 30,000 gold, and nobody can touch. It's just like, oh, you're an Alchemist.
I can't remember who they played the other day, but they stole the stack of Super, and he still had a 12-minute Radiance. I can't remember. I think it was VP. It was game 1 VP or something like that, and they stole the stack with the Gyrocopter, and it didn't even matter because he still had the 12-minute Radiance.
Maybe they'll go for Queen though and try and shut down the Alchemist. We haven't actually seen too many Alchemists get Radiance like that much later if it's in the mid lane, but we haven't seen too many Quap versus Alchemist matchups either.
I do like that Vici banned the Shadow Fiend though. I don't think you can let that hero through at this phase.
So they banned the Morphling, kind of a safety insurance policy, and then, as you said, Ben, maybe it is worth the Juggernaut ban phase 2. They agree.
5 seconds remain.
And that was also a combo they ran at Nanyang. The Alchemist fed the Jug an eggs, I think I mentioned last game, and suddenly burning was huge.
And as always, you have to worry about the Brood Mother. It came out in the second phase ban last phase, and Team Secret loved to run the Dazzle plus Brood to pressure the safe lane carry.
Ooh.
So that's maybe something Team Secret's considering, or Team Vici, or both, I guess.
Alch does an okay job though, right? Once he has...
Yeah, he does okay.
You need to have a good start.
But you might lose your jungle too early for him to actually come online, especially if you have a Queen of Pain in the mid lane. So I'd be a little bit worried about that if I were Vici.
Yeah, but if they want to go Brood, I definitely agree. They need something really dominant like a Quap so they can snowball early before the Alch gets farmed.
AA? Potentially, or even the Brood themselves?
Both teams kind of...
They're still Darkseer too.
Both teams really want AA, actually, in terms of how many heals we have.
Yeah.
Or just regen in general.
And so Vici probably don't worry about the Brood because they're still Darkseer. So what are we looking at? AA mostly, and what else did you guys mention?
Darkseer.
I think Darkseer and AA were the two big ones we mentioned.
Oh! They ignored that altogether. Take the Beastmaster.
That was not a hero we mentioned.
You can play the vision game though, and with the Hawk, you will always see the Doom coming in unless they're smoked up, and you can play around that fact.
This definitely might catch Secret off guard, as they have not, Vici have not run it once in their last 10 games.
This is something that they ran at Nanyang though, right? I think they ran Beastmaster offlane. They were able to actually just get a lot of farm out.
That's right.
10 seconds to pick.
It's interesting though, because these tournaments always develop their own meta, and what they were running at Nanyang, maybe they're shying away from. You forget about it, suddenly it comes out. And
It was the same 3 opener, although the last 2 picks were Juggernaut plus Rubik.
it's also lockdown for the Ember, as well as the AMs, and gives you good physical damage. So if Secret are considering either of those, maybe the offlane Doom instead, that would give them pause. I like to mention the Roche vision control.
Going for when you want to go for the high ground or when you just want to pressure in general too, having the Necro books is incredibly strong against heroes like Doom.
Ooh, this is way different.
Is this an a la carte Tiny, as this Cuddle guy would say, or is this a Tiny IO?
I don't know if he can match up that well versus Alchemist in a one-on-one situation because you just spam your spray and Tiny doesn't have that much armor. But it looks like they're not terribly worried about going super late because they do have the Doom and the Tiny. And maybe with the Wish Tiny, they can actually steal the Alchemist stacks very early on. Vici have been doing an incredible job of protecting their jungle very early when they have an Alchemist. And having the Undying on the Beastmaster, that's kind of what they do. Stack, farm, get Vision with the Beastmaster, and just get Alchemist super, super big. And we haven't really seen the team been able to break that from Vici yet.
So the last time they ran the Tiny, it was solo mid for Weeha, if I recall. I think he got some early ganks, but they did not have an IO.
And that was versus Shadow Fiend. I think Alchemist is he's just a lot more hardy of a hero than the Shadow Fiend. And the windows for ganking him are just so small with the spray. But they are on Dire, so it's not as easy.
Well, there's the Quap, another good Eggs carrier. Actually, all 3 of these are great. This is something Burning has played. I think with the Alk being he's like the vacuum cleaner, right? So you want to get something that's a little more independent early on.
I like the Queen of Pain here though. I think it gives them some mobility, and most importantly, it gives you a hero that can kind of build into that Orchid, for example, and you can force the Doom to get a faster BKB, or even the Tiny, who usually doesn't just build one unless it's like the 3rd item.
It's also good versus a potential Tiny Wisp, and we also saw EG run this particular combo, Queen of Pain Beastmaster plus a big farmer. EG had the Anti-Mage, this time Vici had the Alchemist, and these 2 heroes can just get kills on pretty much anyone on the map.
Team Secret, I think they have enough catch. They probably need something that can hold you down, or at least
Well, they need a Meepo.
Okay. Now we know.
And this scares a lot of teams into picking Queen of Pain against a team like Team Secret because the Meepo is so good against the Queen of Pain. The net distance, I believe, is just like 100 shy.
10 seconds to pick.
First pick of the major.
Now, it is something the Vici Gaming are aware going into this match. They might pick it, but it's not like, oh, they're very likely to pick it. So they've got 1 pick to respond. They don't really have that much AoE lockdown or single target burst, which is generally what you want versus Meepo.
They might pick Timbersaw though. Timbersaw was Vici's solution at Nanyang. It actually did very well versus Meepo. It's also really good versus the Tiny and the Doom.
So then you'd have to run what? Undying?
You'd have to
Beastmaster
run
support or Quap support?
Beastmaster or Quap support, but I mean, you have to have something to deal with the Meepo. I guess actually there's still Ember Spirit out for Vici too if they want to do that.
That's the thing though, is that's what I like about the Meepo pick, is they already committed to 4 fairly farm and level intensive heroes. So it's tough to most of the counters are not supports, they're generally counters.
I wonder if we're ever going to see a team run the support Alk like he was back in the day, in the roaming Crystal Maiden Alchemist days. I mean, they're going to have to pull something strange though. I think Ember and Timber are probably the only 2 that, maybe even Alina too with the pure damage if they want to put Burning in that sort of position. But there's not many other heroes that are that awesome versus Meepo.
So is it a support Tiny then, do you guys think? Or Jungle Doom? I mean, what are they looking at here? Because the last time it was Weeha who played the Tiny, but obviously he's the Meepo player.
I think you can just run it as a core Doom still, and then just kind of let Misery play it as a space creator, get a Blink Dagger kind of in the same vein as when he plays the Slardar. But I mean, Vici Gaming, they're going to have to think long and hard about this, just because if you take the Timbersaw, it does kind of mess with things a little bit more than you might like.
Yeah, their lanes are already sort of committed, unfortunately for them.
I still think Vici have really strong lanes though, and if you can get ahead early on some of these heroes, you might be far enough ahead that you can burst down the Meepo.
I don't know. The Meepo though is against the Queen of Pain, again, like I was saying, the fact that the net is only like, it's like 1,000 range or something like that.
Oh, wow. Okay. Game on.
Oh, it is a support.
Game
time.
number 2 is almost upon us. The rat is back. It's Vici versus Team Secret. Take it away, boys.
And the crowd already going wild here in Frankfurt before game number 2 even starts with the Meepo pickup by Team Secret, but it turns out that's actually not the most interesting pick they had. They go for a Huskar last pick, and we have a tiny support on our hands.
Yeah, I'm actually speechless right now. I was ready to talk about Meepo, and now I don't even know what to look at anymore. Huskar and a Meepo. It is Pylai Die playing Tiny. So he's going to be pretty level intensive. We'll see if they do what we saw earlier with the Doom pick. I think it was done by Alliance. Start the oh, it's an offlane Doom. I don't know where he's getting his levels. I'm frankly confused.
Yeah, I was like looking at this going, okay, maybe they're going to run some sort of Doom like jungle scenario right in the beginning where they started off Devour, okay, the first couple of levels, and now I'm just not sure how they're going to be able to find the opening, enough space for Team Secret, but apparently the best way to deal with the Alchemist, a greedy pickup, is just to outgreed the Greevil's greed.
I guess so. Do you think it's worth it to mess up your lanes this much just to pick Huskar? Like, I guess Huskar is... What is it particularly good at on the Vici Gaming lineup? Like, Alchemist has lots of physical based damage. He has minus armor. He heals through damage over time. I just feel like the Huskar pick is a little out of nowhere, and Vici Gaming has some solutions with like Queen of Pain and Elk.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, okay, let's start with like Decay is not necessarily bad against Huskar. Removes some of his strength. You've got the pure damage of Sonic Wave, minus armor and physical damage out from the Alchemist, lockdown from both the Earthshaker as well as the Beastmaster, and it's a lot of it too. More physical damage out from those two. I don't look at it and go, oh yeah, this was an amazing Huskar counter pick. I look at it and just going, Team Secret are pulling something really weird out.
Yeah, it's definitely very peculiar. Toss first on Pylai Die as well, which is very weird that he would skill at all yet. Are they trying to do some obscene like toss stuff right now? Like toss somebody to the high ground?
Maybe a cheesy plays awaits. Maybe they could have like gone for the toss to the Hawk on the right-hand side,
but
right?
They obviously aren't going to be like, oh, they're picking Beastmaster. Let's anticipate the level 1 support Tiny toss into the... It would have been amazing if it worked, but...
All right, so nothing real interesting happens with our bounty room. They split up between the Alchemist as well as the Meepo. Our mid matchup, that's where those two are going to meet. And then at the top lane, we've got Misery as the Doom against Ice's Beastmaster.
A little snack for him along the way. He's going to be pretty happy with that one. Courier comes mid, brings super and extra tango in. What is the matchup like? Have you ever played this Alchemist versus Meepo? I have to say it's pretty rare.
I can't imagine it's going to be too terribly favorable. Eternal Empty with the early TP. That'll actually successfully get him up the top lane where he truly wants to be. And Misery, I guess, is going to go jungle now.
I do that all the time, man. I get fissure blocked, I'm like, I'm changing lanes. Screw this.
Misery, he's already down to 150 HP, and he's going to be chased away here before he even gets his level 2 and gets the regen of Scorched Earth into play. Puppy is now left solo at the bottom lane while Pylai Die is doing some tossing.
There's the abusive strategy. Yeah. You pull the large camp out, and then you toss one of the creeps to the mid creep wave, and then it does a mid pull. Now this is something, this is such a cool little strat here. He tossed the next large creep. It's something you can do now because you can choose which one to toss.
You're going to shut down some of the Alchemists. Much of the Alchemist is farmed by doing this.
Yeah, the creatures are just going to disappear, and they had to actually nerf the mid pulls by making the leash range much smaller on those camps.
How are they even going to be able to, like, the Meepo matchup against the Alchemist? I'm looking at this, and it is decently favorable, it seems like, for the Meepo. Melee hero versus a Meepo can't be terribly good. But then you're talking about a huge experience advantage for the Meepo as well, which is only going to grow as he starts making more of himself, popping out of every single hole. And then the Tiny's going to be able to come in for a gank at some certain point. Like, he's got a Mango and Clarity. You could actually see Pylai Die maybe successfully getting a rotation out of full-time jungle.
He definitely can, or he can just continue pulling, continue gimping the Alchemist, slow his acceleration. Like, yeah, he got that bounty rune and he's way ahead, but now Meepo's at 13 CS, and the Alchemist only has 7. So, definitely a pretty big way to slow him down. But is this going to translate into a hero that's useful? That's the real question. Yeah, you can play any heroes as support if you want to, but do they become useful at all stages of the game?
Well, we've seen Tiny kind of being messed around with. The core Tiny at the mid lane, oftentimes transitioning back into that old Warcraft 3 Blink Dagger first style. But we've also seen off lane Tiny run by a couple teams, most notably Sexy Bamboo, who's probably run it the most. So I have faith that this Tiny is actually going to be a pretty good 4-position support. We'll see how the rest of it plays out. Misery is at the bottom lane for a little while. Once again, going to head back into the jungle as Team Secret just doing mass rotations here.
And they're in a decent space right now. They're actually zoning Burning from his off lane. He's playing off lane Queen of Pain. In the safe lane, you have Ice 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 farming a Beastmaster. So that means everything kind of just falls on Super. And he's playing Alchemist mid, and he's getting pulled on mid. Like, this crazy stuff that Secret is doing is actually working. Their lane advantage is coming through here. If they can just keep Queen of Pain under leveled, then it's all on Alchemist's shoulders, and or maybe ganks, but I think Secret's going to be doing a good job about not getting ganked. So it's not looking amazing for Vici Gaming right now. This definitely threw him for a loop.
This is probably something you can only pull off on the Radiant side, right? I don't think you'd be able to pull the Dire jungle.
I think you can get away with it. I think you can do the toss. I think I've seen a video of that on Reddit before. You just have to pull it over and do... Yeah, just you can make the toss. I think it requires maybe at least an observer ward or something in the tier 2 mid area, but definitely harder, especially because you can't connect the pulls as easy. It's definitely much easier to do on the Radiant side, that's for sure.
So very clearly, Team Secret are going to have a rather large early lead in gold at the very least because they're pulling so much, or rather, sorry, experience, because they're denying away so much experience from the Alchemist. It is still going to be an Alchemist though. If they can start feeding him some bounty runes, have some stacks up in the Dire side jungle, he will still be able to make a pretty good recovery. As all he really needs is high levels of Acid Spray and that Soul Ring.
But is it the right thing? Like, I feel like he has to change his build. I don't think he can go with the Radiance build against a Huskar, for example. Because that build that they commonly do, it's Radiance into Manta into Octarine Core, and it's not that right-click heavy. It's okay, but it's not amazing. It's very magic-based, it's very chase them down. Yeah, you're getting acid sprays and throwing out physical stuns, but it's not the kind of damage that you're going to need to blow up a Huskar. So I feel like if Jackie has a pretty good game here, if he gets ahead in items, or at least if he's semi-comparable to Alchemist, if Alchemist just builds magic damage and Manta and some HP, that's not enough to stay alive versus a Huskar. Huskar should beat you in that 1v1.
So what should you try and build perhaps a little bit more of a ganking style on the Alchemist? We've seen some Alchemists experiment with like the Blink Dagger Solar Crest build throughout the minus armor with the unstable concoction. I'm just not sure if this is actually going to be a viable build or not.
With the same thing said, I don't think they can go like the armlet build or those different ones. I don't think it's going to work, because if he just gets doomed, then an armlet's on and he's going to slowly drain down on HP, and then he won't be able to farm as fast, and then he won't be able to stay ahead of his opponents. I mean, maybe their entire focus is get the Radiance and then translate that to Aghanim Scepters on his team. That might also be the case. And one thing they do have going for them is they have a bunch of really good stuns. Fissure, Roar, Alchemist stun. Stuns are another good way to deal with Huskar, because then he can't armlet toggle, he can't run away, things like that.
And they've got plenty of Ags targets as well. Every single one of these heroes can take an Ags. Even the Earthshaker is actually, most notably, he doesn't really get Ags too often. But specifically against Illusion heroes or perhaps a Meepo,
Meepo would also
the Aghanims would actually be such a big upgrade. But I'm really first looking at the Undying. I mean, this is Vici Gaming through and through. Alchemist, Undying, get the upgrade to Decay.
Do you think they're going to go for that, though? The fast Ags? Like, yes, it's a thing you can do with Alchemists, but almost every Alchemist of this tournament, at least, I don't think I've seen an Aghanim's purchased once to give to an ally. It's basically they say, you know what, I'm going to get 7 items and I'm going to get them stupidly fast, and at that point the game usually ends. It doesn't often drag on much longer than that. Yeah, you maybe have some outliers in the qualifiers, like when Alliance played Alchemist and gave so many Aghanims to his team, but is that the solution to this game? It's pretty good against Huskar, I guess, because he is a strength hero. You can reduce his damage and reduce his max HP, which makes bursting him easier, but can you 5-man decay a Meepo? Or does it only give you one source? That's a weird mechanics question, but that would be pretty cool if that works.
Yeah, that really would. Especially if you get the Ags up.
He would get 1,000 HP approximately every time he casts Decay if he catches 5 Meepos. That would be pretty cool. That could see some value, but I feel like that doesn't work.
For me, I'm still looking at the Alchemist as, I don't know, the only team that's really successfully made the sort of middle ground Alchemist, where he gets the Radiance, but then he starts passing off Aghanim Scepter, was Team Secret. They were the only team for me that really actually saw a successful strategy that worked out, and that was when they were running a safe lane Alchemist.
You're talking about ESL New York?
Yeah, I think so.
I feel like
they
that
had,
was
like a Venomancer.
Yeah, and they did a couple heroes like that. They did some Necrolite strats, as did OG. But I feel like that was the early days of where Alchemist came into style. That was without Radiance. It was things like Solar Crests and things, which was relatively fast. Yeah, it made them get Ags on Alch, but it wasn't like a super acceleration of farm. So I feel like the Ags may happen, and if they do, it's probably going to be a Radiance.
Now, what sort of openings do you think? Obviously, the Meepo is going to be the biggest threat, immediate threat, I would say, for Vici Gaming. How are they going to be able to address that in the early game? Do they just keep the Earthshaker somehow in the middle lane, helping out that Alchemist?
I mean, he's definitely going to need to be where the ganks are coming. And I think the two heroes that you maybe need to watch the most are going to be Tiny as well as Doom. Because if they do something like net into a tossback, that's a dead hero in almost all cases. Or if Doom shows up and Doom's somebody that gets chain netted, that guy's going to die as well. So those are the two heroes you have to watch for the rotations. Maybe Huskar can set up some ganks as well. But watching Meepo is hard because there's 5 of them. Like, you're just going to lose track of them. They're going to teleport around the map. He may even go for a Boots of Travel this game. I think typically he doesn't, but with this many gank options, it might be something that's really useful for him to do. Like, he could definitely hit a little bit of a swing here, get a fast Ags, get a fast Blink Dagger, and he just continuously shuts down Alchemist. If he just micros correctly and makes sure that one of his Meepos doesn't get stunned, they're just going to continue netting, and Alchemist will be pressured really hard. So Vici Gaming has to protect a lot of their heroes here, and they also have to pressure a lot all over the place, and right now, at the 3-minute mark, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that.
Looking forward into this game, Team Secret are actually going to have such a crazy amount of initiation if the laning phase goes all right for them, because I'm presuming this Tiny is still going to be building a Blink Dagger.
Yeah, definitely.
We see obviously the Meepo go for the Blink Dagger. Huskar just has his natural initiation with his ultimate, and then Doom very likely to pick up a Blink as well, as you've got some high priority targets to take out of the pool immediately. If you can get the Queen of Pain, that's going to be target number 1, I think, for these team fights.
Depends on his farm rate, I think. It might even be better to do somebody like Undying or Earthshaker, maybe, because they do have so many tanky heroes. They have the most run at them lineup I've ever seen, actually. And they have good synergy as well, Dazzle plus Meepo. If those heroes are running at Vici Gaming's team, they need to slow that ability for them to chase, because Secret just has so many ways to swing things around. If they can prevent big things like Echo Slams into other combos, then yeah, Secret will get crushed there.
Yeah.
But they need to make sure that they don't get slowed down as they run at them. That's going to be really important in these fights.
All right, looks like we're finally ready to go. Game number 2 between Secret and Vici Gaming has just become unpaused. So we go back. Misery was just dewarding, taking away the ward that was actually blocking out the magic bush, so we'll have some more spawns to play with.
And Puppy's going to start zoning Ice Ice. He's immediately shifted to the off lane, so I'm sure they talked a little bit about strategy here. Misery's on the opposite side.
Misery in for the side, and Eternal Envy's already going to be able to do so much damage, but Misery couldn't get the body block in time. Ice still running away, and he still has so many of those burning spears, and there it is. The first blood goes to EE.
That's Doombringer, man. He turns on Scorched Earth, and he just walks after somebody, and they die. Pretty straightforward, so they shift over. This puts Burning in the safe lane now to guarantee some levels on him. He absolutely needed this, because if he doesn't get 6 rapidly, it means they're not going to have a lot of rotations coming out of Vici.
Weeha's just controlling this lane so well. Alchemist is 16-1. Obviously, large part of that has been Pylai Die pulling those camps over, but also just Meepo as a hero being able to deal with the Alchemist pretty well.
And Pi doing a great rotation around. The Hawk might spot him, but it's not a high enough level.
It's going to be a beautiful setup, and Pylai Die was just a few steps farther forward. He could have gotten the stun and maybe the toss back, but
might be now. We'll see. It's got a Clarity Potion as well.
Got so much control over this tier 1. Vici Gaming don't seem to have a response. Pylite dies, gonna catch Fenrir. Does he really want to go for that toss? It looks like he tried to for a second. But ultimately, Team Secret will just take this tier 1, I think, be happy.
Yeah, I guess he can't cast a double spell for a while, but he got an Observer Ward down in a good place. He zoned them out, didn't even make them feel comfortable about trying to poke around the tower, so they get the last hit. And that's on Eternal Envy as well. Interesting item choice, he got a Ring of Basilius, but with the early point in Inner Vitality, it's not a bad pickup. It covers a lot of his regen options. And he'll surely go Armlet right after.
Yeah, and just increasing the power of his creep pushes as well, being able to pressure these towers even earlier. Knowing Vici Gaming rely on a certain number of levels on their heroes. The Beastmaster can't really move around and gank. The Earthshaker and Undying as supports aren't really going to be able to provide much for you until they're really level 6, level 7.
This looks so good for Envy now, because he can basically just sit solo in his lane. And they don't have very many disables and not that much damage coming out of their support duo, so he's fairly safe here. I'd maybe like to see him pick up a TP scroll, that way if he gets fissured into Tombstone, he could just TP out. But other than that, he's going to be happy.
FY started showing himself in the middle lane, but with an Alchemist, there's just no kill potential whatsoever. He's going to try and stack up some more. In fact, the Alchemist will come over and clear through some of that stacks now. And this is the thing. No matter how much you think you shut down the Alchemist, he's still going to be able to get so much farm, just like an SF, except doubly so with that Grievous Greed.
Yeah, and that's why he bought the Soul Ring, basically. It's way more mana than something like a Ring of Basilius would do. He just casts a lot of Acid Spray and farms in that way, so almost surely will be the Radiance build.
Yeah, it's already up to 2k.
Weehouse also really farmed, though. I mean, net worth alone, Alchemist is actually ahead, but it's only by about 500. You would normally think it would be a lot more. And he's way stronger in the early game, too. He might spot out super. He does. He could actually steal these stacks really easily.
Yeah, with the Meepo, if he actually gets some backup from the rest of Team Secret.
Or even experience. Like, if these stacks die while he's here, it helps out his team a lot. And he doesn't even lose that much by sending a Meepo here. If he can handle the micro at least, it makes his opponents really frustrated. They can't farm as efficiently. And if he gets in trouble, he just leaves.
Pylite die. If they actually get some sort of setup stun, Super just lost his chemical range. They're going to go for this one. The extra damage comes in from Py, and that'll be the free kill. Weehaw now has to turn to the Tombstone, but Burning has come in with a response. He will be able to take out the Meepo. Pylite die is going to fall as well. He claims the Tombstone, but that is all.
Huge rotation coming out of Burning here.
Oh, and a long-range jump by Eternal Envy, putting some boots on there as he chases down Ice with the ultimate and chases them all the way to that tier 3 tower where he will take out.
I'm not 100% sure if it was worth killing the Alchemist there, because Quap was able to pick up the levels and the experience from that one, but slowing down the Alchemist, taking the Ancients the stack is definitely going to help a bit here. It's decent for Pylite die though, he probably got at least a level out of that one.
And the Huskars, he's already online. Like, he's got an onlet. Yeah. It's going to be flying out to him soon. So if they need more time on some of their other heroes, like the Doom and perhaps the Tiny to farm, Eternal Envy can be, you know, that kind of man mode hero that takes on 2 or 3 members of Vici Gaming at a time.
Yeah, really good point. Because the Quap basically went top to defend, Eternal Envy's free to dive. So if it wasn't for the Queen of Pain going top, then he may not have felt comfortable doing that. So they did get multiple resources there, despite their deaths.
The Orchid obviously going to be the build for Burning. We're going to see that transition from early game ganking hero to full-on mid to late game carry with going the Orchid, BKB, AC.
I like what Misery did here. He threw a mana burn out on Burning. Just keep his mana in a place where if he ganks, he's not going to have a whole lot more than a Scream. Just little things like that is going to make a big difference. Force him back to base once, perhaps. Pylite Eye looking to gank. Misery's got 6. They just need vision.
Have the toss. If they can get the toss into the Doom, that'll be a kill on Burning. He can't get away. They catch him out now. The stun comes out. Burning is surely dead. The question is, can they get the deny? Super comes in, looks for it, chasing down Burning. Come here, you. Oh, doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. Misery actually walks away with the kill, and now he's trying to walk away with his life, but he doesn't have. Well, he actually pops the wand. He has enough for a TP out. He starts eating through some trees, getting some distance out. They're gonna see him at the last second, but Misery, he completes his TP. He gets away scot-free! Bottom lane, they keep on going. Ice dives onto Eternal Envy, gives up his life, but Weeha will claim the kill. Secret are going wild here in the side lanes, pushing and being aggressive all the way.
They're pressuring everywhere at the same time, and they got so much in that little bit. I mean, they did lose Huskar. He was the top farm on their team. Maybe they'll get some more kills. Thinking about it.
Burning, he actually completed that TP, and they're going to have a problem as the
they got him.
They got enough damage. Burning, a critical error there, beats another kill to Meepo. And you cannot give up extra room to the Weepo.
That is so dangerous, man. He goes down and he goes down again. All that momentum he had is completely gone now, and this tier 2 tower is already gone. If Secret can take this bottom tier 2 and then take the next 2 mid, Roche is going to be so much easier for them to control.
Fenrir next target, Pylai dies, sees him, doesn't have enough distance there to be able to get the toss, tries to go for it the last second, but a block out from the Fisher. He was really hoping to get the toss back to Eternal Envy. He just lit the Huskar, consumed the zombie man, but Team Secret making their invasion to the jungle, not really finding anything. Their next objectives, these outer tier 1 towers. If they can actually complete these, you're going to look at an Agadam's Weeha by like 12, 13 minutes.
I think what we're seeing here is the Secret Radiant strat. Like, a lot of teams were valuing the Dire strat, but obviously Secret worked something out. The tiny support with the mid pulling, Doombringer on top of that. I guess it takes Doombringer and Radiant for this to work out, but it's looking really good for them right now. It's only 6-3, but the amount of pressure they're putting on the map is insane.
FY, he sees a very low Pylai dive, but not low enough for a Fisher kill to go out, and the rest of Vici Gaming don't want to TP into that tier 1. Team Secret are just too far ahead right now, so Vici Gaming are just going to try and go for an exchange.
Not anymore. As soon as that died, they're shifting to the bot lane. They might even run into Alchemist as well. He doesn't quite have the relic, so this would be a huge death for him. No reliable gold. If he gets killed here,
he's going to try and get to the side shot, buy a TP, but Pylai die as well as Weeha. They have the disable to lock him down. They see Super, catch him out. Here comes the first damage, and Super loses what little gold he had. He was so close to getting that relic. But now it's going to be delayed up a few more minutes.
that is the worst feeling ever. In that first game,
Envy. Look at this, smoke up. If they get the lockdown, Misery's trying to get the Doom, but after the blink, Burning is susceptible, but he gets into the trees, hiding himself away from Eternal Envy. Staying ahead, 5 seconds left. Eternal Envy's found him now. They get the Doom, and Burning will go down. The Emperor 3 times in 12 minutes. This is not the start he intended.
It was great anticipation there. He knew that the blink wasn't going to be off cooldown in time, so they chased him down and they got the kill. 3-1 now on Envy. The Doom being used every single time it's off cooldown. And I just love how they're varying the ways that they do the ganks as well. It makes it so much harder for their opponents to predict it.
Dire's top tower is
Secret will take another outer tower. That'll be the last outer tier 1 for Vici Gaming.
Dire's top tower has
And this game is getting really dark for them real fast. Got a lot of defensive vision left, but the map control entirely in the favor of Team Secret, and they've got the greedy heroes to take advantage of it too.
There are now 4 Meepos on the map. That's somebody ganking and 3 farming. So he's going to get a lot done right now.
Super back to the Dire side jungle, trying to complete that relic. But even once you have the Radiance, he's still susceptible just to being blown up by Team Secret. Especially with the Meepo. Pylai die is actually pretty close to the Blink Dagger now, FY. Thought about initiating there. Vici Gaming are also retreating on Super. Misery doesn't have his Doom yet.
It's just pressuring.
Yeah. Forces out the Chemical Rage. Sees the relic.
He's playing so aggressive right now, but he knows they don't have that many stuns. And he's got Tranquil Boots, he's got a Drum, he's got a Ring of Basilius. He has way more armor than normal. We looking for a kill here.
Yeah, he tried to find it. Maybe he can get the deny on the tier 1. He's actually still going for the nets. Ice.
That's next
TP's
level.
out just ahead. Good jukes.
Dire's top tower is being attacked.
That was like a tier 2 pro play. You know, like the pro play was the Duke in that one little clump, and Weeha read that, but Ice knew. Next one. That was so
step
sick.
ahead.
Dire's top tower is
That's
under
typical
siege.
Ice, honestly. He makes so many great plays like that most typical pro players aren't expecting.
Dire's top tower is being
Vici Gaming are actually going to try and fight this one out now. Their tier 2 is going to fall, but the Glyph actually delays enough that Vici Gaming can make the initiation. They find Puppy first. They're going to try and blow him up immediately. Double ults getting laid out for him, and Pylai Die just wants to get the hell out of dodge. He TPs away and leaves the tier 2 at deniable range.
Not terrible for Secret, just losing their lowest net worth hero. Still pretty decent net worth compared to what Vici Gaming is working with, and that golden experience will help a lot. But most importantly, it's the map control. If this tower is gone, Super can't safely farm his own jungle anymore. There's no safety from teleports from his allies, so really big that they did defend that.
Ice has a completed Necronomicon. If he can actually get to the full Necro Book 3, I mean, there's only a certain number of items that Vici Gaming I feel really need in order to start fighting up against Team Secret and winning those fights handedly. Blink Dagger on the Earthshaker, just levels on the Undying, that Necronomicon 3, and I think they can actually go forward with the strength of their team fight lineup and start taking some tier 1 towers of their own.
Weehaw is just waiting any moment he's going to say, all right, it's time, I'll take Roshan. And I think it's going to be based on them killing Vici Gaming, or maybe he'll just stroll into it now. They have a medallion coming.
Perhaps an aggressive push out from a Terlembi could buy the space.
They might not even need a whole lot of space here. With the Vlads, the Meepos are going to start life stealing. And with the Shadow Wave, it's doing a lot of damage to Roshan.
Look at this. I think Vici Gaming actually assumes there's some sort of maybe smoke behind. They had the vision there, but they're not actually rotating up to top at all. They're actually going for the Roshan pit. They know now, but it's too late. Aegis picked up. And Vici Gaming, well, they complete their Radiance now, but that's a signature item. The Blink Dagger Tiny is complete.
It's a bad sign when your core Alchemist gets his Radiance at time as a support Tiny, because that means that everybody else on Secret's going to have a lot of items picked up here. I really like his item build. Just easy. Arcane Boots, Blink. That's all he really needs to be effective at this stage, and there's so many scary ways that that's going to be able to profit. Like, he could basically just do Blink, toss back.
Weehaw looking for the initiation with that haste rune. Will find Fenrir, surrounds him real quick. The Fissure will interrupt. He managed to get out the Tombstone, heals himself up a little bit more, but he knows he's dead. Turns around, throws out a Decay, and it's all the Tombstone that's left for the Undying, but Vici Gaming, they start backing themselves up, knowing they can't fight Secret just yet.
And there's the Blink on Pi. They get the kill, the tier 2 tower has fallen. And Weehaw sends more guys back to heal. So he's ready to fight again. Still has the Aegis.
I mean, how does Burning deal with this? A Blink Dagger Meepo by 16.5 minutes in?
He has 758 HP. That's like 3 poofs in melee range. If he gets net once, he just dies. Yeah. And there's a Blink already on the Meepo. If Burning's ever not paying attention, any one of those Meepos can set up his death. And he has to worry about Doom, and he has to worry about Tiny plus anything else. Such a hard game for Vici Gaming from here on out.
Weehaw is pushing out the bottom lane, as well as helping with that tier 2 tower middle. And this invis is just wasted time for Burning, as he's hoping to be able to find a pick off.
Puppey, I guess, is maybe the only way he can go. Nobody else has low enough HP, I don't think.
Yeah.
And even Puppey, I don't think, would die in instant burst. I feel like he should have at least had somebody come with him there. Maybe they're too scared. Because if they run into Meepo, it could be an easy double kill, but if you have that kind of an advantage, like an Invis rune, I feel like it's worth looking for that. But Vici Gaming is just going to sit in their base for all. Did they just wait until Alchemist gets 6 items? I don't know if that's going to work either, but I feel like they need to make something happen. Wait till Secret spreads out, go for a kill. And they do have a smoke on ice now. So that's what they're going to attempt.
See what they can do. Oh man, Super's not even level 10 yet, which means no unstable concoction. He doesn't even have that paltry stun to add.
I think 1 level in stun would be good. He probably missed at least 1 kill stopping TPs, for example. He's also only got a level 1 chemical rage. That's 50 HP per second. And when you only have 891 and you have a Meepo that can poof for up to 1,000 magic damage, like, that regen is going to mean nothing. He's in such a vulnerable area right now, so I guess they just protect the Alchemist. Let him try to get some items, let him try to split push the game. Prevent Secret from basically being able to go high ground.
Super knows that he can't just sit there and wait for the creep waves to come to him. He's got to be the one pushing out and making some sort of space for his allies.
And it's going to look a little weird here for Secret fans, because Secret's just going to sit outside the base and push the lanes, but they have to be very careful at this moment, because if they do throw a team fight, it's going to be a massive amount of gold advantage going to their opponents.
Echo Slam gets laid out. Pylai Die gets caught in the process of trying to kill Burning.
He tried to one-shot him by himself?
Is it going to work for him?
Yeah, it's not quite enough damage.
That now means the Orchid is complete for Burning as well. Vici Gaming, though, even after that pickoff, it's still a 12,000 gold lead for Team Secret, almost 10,000 experience ahead as well. They've got utter control to stay ahead of this Alchemist.
Blink Dagger on Doom now. They might kill Super here. Here comes the
Try and
chase.
catch up. Misery is going to be leading the way. The Unstoppable Concoction goes out, but Eternal Envy's going to be able to get the dunk in, slowing down Super long enough for the Nets to get in. They surrounded him. Weehaw gets stunned up on one of his meepos, but Ice doesn't have the power. Misery gets blocked out there by a Fisher. But still, looks like Misery's tanky enough to just be able to stay on the front lines. Now Weehaw's actually going to come in past the tier 3 tower, catches Ice, gets him as well. Fenrir next up. Weehaw is on a massacre now, and he's not stopping. He tries to catch Burning, now goes for FY right next to the fountain. All the way to the fountain, all the way. Weehaw wants that kill desperately, but now here comes the turnaround. He's still at half HP. Weehaw, though, goes into the pit. He knows his Aegis was about to expire. And his last Meepo was going to be around that tier 4 area. Vici Gaming don't even seem to have the damage necessary to catch him inside of their own base. The tier 3 tower is now down. Eternal Envy's been working his way through that one. And Vici Gaming, they really just have one last response. They can't afford to be losing a later Rax this early on, but Super! It gets off the Unstable Concoction, catches Pylai Die. The TP in now from the Beastmaster. Ice. Needs to kill on somebody, but Misery actually wants to come forward. He's got the Doom ready to go, but he got to organ it up first. So FY getting the control out to make sure the Misery goes down perhaps before the Doom. No! He turns around, gets it off on Super's Unstable Concoction on himself. It's Pylai Die, but Vici Gaming on full retreat now. It's Eternal Envy on low HP, but it doesn't matter. It's a Huskar. You can't take him. Triple kill for Eternal Envy. They've taken complete control of Vici Gaming's base and will now claim that ranged Rex.
They are just so far ahead. They have such good early game heroes. The Meepo countered their draft so much, and they traded the Aegis for every single ultimate on Vici Gaming. They're going to be respawning soon. Maybe they can hold this second barracks, but if they don't, the game just ends. 20 minutes, man. You can't let them get that.
Second laner Rax about to go down. Vici Gaming, they're trying to wait out the rest of the dead timers.
What a jump!
The Echo Slam, is that going to be enough? They take out the Dazzle. Weehaw's very low as well.
Did he get him?
Into the kill. He gets the deny. Weehaw commits suicide. What the hell? Secret at the top of their form, even when they're losing, they're really not.
What presence of mind. He's like, oh, my main Meepo has a Shadow Dagger on it. Let me just take care of that. And it completely worked. Huge deny there coming from him. And they do get the tower as well. Now, it's a good defense from Vici Gaming. A very unexpected Blink Dagger from FY, but looking at him now, 1-0-5, I was like, did he sell things to get his Blink Dagger? He didn't. He's just been playing great. 47 CS on him, and that Blink Dagger held the game together. Without that, that Rax ends, and Vici Gaming calls GG.
Radiant's middle tower
He's got a
is
point
being
booster after that fight, but Vici Gaming, they got to get some control back. They can't just go back to sitting inside their base, waiting out creep waves to push in, because Secret will just wait on the next Roshan, which isn't too far away, and use that Aegis to put in another dent into the Vici Gaming side of the base. FY gonna make his initiation here. Puppy gets the force staff out from Pylai's Eye. The initiation comes out. Will be able to catch FY in the process. Turnaround. Ice identifies Eternal Envy, but do they really have enough damage? They get a little bit of control. Where's the follow-up? Eternal Envy gets wiped out by the Sonic Wave. No chance for an armlet toggle there. And Vici Gaming, this is the kind of aggression that they need, but one pickoff may not be enough. As Team Secret still have the fighting power of Misery with his Doom, and Pylai Die could potentially follow Weehaw into battle.
Vici Gaming did the perfect thing there with that small advantage that they got from those kills. They immediately bought a gem, and they bought some HP on their other heroes. So they move across the map, they deward everything, they get some observer wards out, because it's like this is the first time they've had to leave the base in the last 10 minutes. And they even get a kill on Huskar, almost getting Dazzle as well. That was great for Vici Gaming. Now they're on cooldowns for a bit. Queen of Pain doesn't have her ulti, so they're limited, and they're gonna have to go passive for a moment, but that was a great pickoff.
Weehaw building into the Scythe of Ice right now, but it's going to be Roshan. That's the bigger objective for Team Secret. That is up in 10 seconds.
What is Puppy gonna buy as well? He's got all the core Dazzle items and 2,500 gold.
Complete the Solar Crest, maybe?
What do you feel about a mech this game? I feel like mech's pretty good. You've got a Meepo. It's going to heal all of them individually.
Yeah.
It's a Huskar as well. Giving him some burst heal at the right time could make a difference. And then you can turn it. Maybe you don't want to make Guardian Greaves, so maybe you want a Force instead, but I'm not quite sure.
Well, the world is really puppy's oyster at this point in time. Same kind of goes for Misery, who's got 3k gold on him. He can start building into some of that core Doom build if he wants to go something like the Shivas next. He's got more than enough gold for one of the big items.
Well, it does look like it'll be a Solar Crest, I guess. He still hasn't spent his money, and 2.5k is plenty to buy just about any item that Dazzle's going to want. And with the Solar Crest, tons of evasion on Eternal Envy. If he had that in the last fight, I think he just would have killed everybody, even though he did get focused and get put very low.
Team Secret, a 4-man smoke. They want to make sure that they're not interrupted while they take Roshan. So the biggest play is going to be finding a pickoff and then backing up. And it looks like Super's going to be the mark. They instantly make the initiation on him. The follow-up on Ice side. Super's actually getting some distance away. The FY. He gets the control on the wave. He gets disappeared. Oh my god. Burning just took him out with a sonic wave. And they're going to be able to make their turnaround here. Misery's going to be the chase, but Vici Gaming, caution. They're pushing forward still, hoping to be able to catch another one. FY has his Blink Dagger. He's going to be able to get a pick off and at least one more. There isn't a turnaround from Secret. Hits Misery with the Fisher. But Vici Gaming, they're very scared of a turnaround here from Team Secret. You could see the way they actually started backing up a little bit with the Alchemist and then FY leading with that Fisher, but no one really follows it up. They say the pickoff on Meepo was good enough. Let's not push our luck.
It gave them so much gold too. They keep holding him back, and if they can continue to do this, there's a real chance they can win. They're going to need at least 5 or 6 more pickoffs and eventually some map control and towers of their own, but they can still win this game.
If Burning can complete that BKB ahead of Meepo's Scythe of Vice,
that would be really big as well.
Oh yeah, Burning, I mean, at that point, he's still got to contend with the Doom, and that's going to be an issue, but at least he's got something to deal with that Meepo one-on-one.
And there's a lot of burst damage on Secret. It could be even Tiny jumping in and lowering his HP down to 20%. That plus any other fallout means dead heroes.
Food to travel right into the Ogre Frost Mage that's sitting inside the Roshan pit. They'll quickly clean up Roche before Vici Gaming have a chance to respond. So this time around, Secret will be able to get the Roshan and Aegis in their hands to Meepo.
I like this choice because it basically allows him the opportunity to buy back in a fight. In a fight like that just happened, if he dies right at the start and he buys back and TPs back in, they don't have ultimates anymore, and they're probably not going to be able to kill his Meepos. And in that case,
Highlight I see something, gets the combination, isn't it enough? Oh, Burning, 20 HP, but he's not out of the woods yet. Meepo's going to come in, long range, gets him. Oh, a hole-in-one, gets him big. Weehaw's going to look for more now, the TP out, blink away by FY. Weehaw will keep on pushing in with the rest of his team, Team Secret. They see the opportunity to take the mid laner racks, especially with the Aegis still in their hands. They don't know this, but Burning is down for 35 seconds without buyback. So it's going to be all up to FY to make another big-time Echo Slam initiation.
And he's got a Reaver on top of what he already had, so even more regen from Inner Vitality and a lot more HP for his opponents to go through. Echo Slam is up though. Earthshaker's mana isn't as healthy as it could be.
There's a buyback now. It just came up off the tickle.
I think they wait. Envy's tower damage is frankly not that much right now.
Yeah, especially with all that high HP, his attack speed is very minimum.
Puppy opting for a Lotus Orb actually, not going to finish the Solar Crest, and the melee barracks looks like it's going to fall.
Yeah, Burning's up now, but the melee racks does end up going down. Vici Gaming look for their opening. Ice going to be leading the way. Pops the ultimate Eternal Levy. The win on the super. Unstable Concoction is going to go off last. He gets doomed up, stunned up himself. And Burning, he couldn't compete with Eternal Levy's damage. They lose to FY makes the initiation, but it could be too late. An aggressive force step actually puts him out of the way, unable to complete his combination. Gets the Fisher onto Weehaw. He makes sure that this Meepo doesn't get away. Palace Daizo plays interference, making sure that they go on to him rather than Weehaw. He gets out, and Eternal Levy, he goes right back in. Weehaw's going to make his re-initiation now. One of his Meepos, the rest of the Meepos are filing in one by one. Fenrir's down, Vici Gaming. They only have 2 left to defend, and that's got to be enough for Team Secret to force the fight and take the throne. Vici Gaming, they put up a good fight, but
Okay, I was going to say that.
It's 19 seconds. Burning's not going to be up in time. GG is the call from Vici Gaming. Team Secret, they lost game number 1. It was one hell of a game, 2 hour-long, nice edge match. It could have gone either way. but game 2 utterly dominant by Team Secret.
Yeah, Vici Gaming did have some moments of amazingness there. Echo slams and things like that. They delayed the loss, but ultimately Secret's advantage was too much. What a weird strat. What a weird batch of heroes. I hope I never see that combo in my pub games, but it worked for Secret here.